The journey of evolving into mentorship role, taking a step back from performing services on clients, how to overcome self-doubt and manifest success in your business. These are just some of the topics we go over with Amanda in this week's podcast of Beauty Behind the Brand. These are a great takeaway in the sense of growing and revolving as a business owner and within the beauty industry.
All right, we've got Amanda here with us today, and she's going to tell us all about her story and how she started in the industry.
Yes. Well, my name's Amanda. I have been an esthetician for 16 years. I went to school in 2007, which is a very long time ago now that I say that out loud. But I've always kind of had a passion for the beauty industry, and I thought that I wanted to do makeup. And then I got into makeup, and it was not my jam. It was not my thing. I kind of took a 180, and I got my lashes done, and the girl was like, "You should try this. You'd be really good at this." And so I tried it, and I fell in love with it. But I did lashes for a while, and then I got a job at a med spa. And I thought that's also what I wanted to do, like lasers, laser hair removal. I feel like that's kind of every esthetician's dream.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And so I got into it, and it was just not what I thought it was. It was just a really bad experience, and I actually got fired from that job. And immediately after that, I'll blame it on my rage. I was so mad, and I was just like, I'm going to create a salon business where people feel welcome and where people feel loved, and where like somewhere I would want to go work. And I'm going to treat my employees and the people that come in the opposite of how I was just treated. So the getting fired from that job really like fueled my fire, I guess. And I ended up opening a lash studio, and just the rest is history. I had multiple people applying all the time. I really made a reputation for myself and a name for my business, and it just took off. And now I have 2 salon locations with 25 employees in it. I no longer see clients, and I just do business and mindset coaching along with owning the businesses.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. See, firing is not a terrible thing.
No, there's always a blessing in those things too.
Yes, definitely. Actually, I was very similar. Didn't know what I wanted to do either, in the sense I knew I wanted to get into beauty of some sort, did my aesthetics, and then worked at another salon, a little spa, got fired from there as well, and then started my own too. So literally the same story.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
Yeah, because to your point, like having kind of like that safe place for people to come, whether it's employees or clients. And I feel like with the beauty industry, it's like your escape from reality in a way, right? We want to go somewhere and get pampered, especially for lashes. It's like, you can have a chatty lash tech, you can have a relaxed lash tech, there's just so many different things of offering. And that lash nap too is a must.
Oh my gosh. Prime.
Yes.
And your environment is so important, like being around like-minded people and being around other people who are growing and doing the same thing as you is just, it'll make or break your career pretty
Absolutely.
much. And
yeah.
just being in I don't know about you, but like being in that bad environment, it just like kind of sucked the life out of me a little bit. And then when I went on my own, I was just like, this is not the way shit goes. Like, we are not running it like this. This is not what people should experience. And yeah, I'm really glad that I did it, and I can give people the experience that they should have, working in a salon or doing lashes or seeing clients.
I also feel like we take a lot of people that are fairly new in the industry and we bring them on board. And I feel like sometimes I'm like, I almost kind of wish you experienced like the bad salon, so then you appreciated the good spa or salon you're working at, right? Now, do you have a lot of like newer lash techs that come to you, or someone like that they come and want space outside of like if they're working from home and want to actually come and work at a brick and mortar location? What's kind of the dynamic at the studios for you?
I would say it's 50-50. I think so. I was a commission salon only, and I just recently switched over to booth rental. So I think people coming out of school. I don't, where are you guys? Where do you live?
So we're like Ontario, like kind of near 2 hours north of Toronto is the best way to explain it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm in Nevada, and it's changing a lot. So I feel like a lot of people were not allowed to work out of our houses at all. So a lot of people don't do that. They come out of school and they just want a job immediately, which is great. However, I don't know that schools fully prepare people for the responsibility of booth rental and the responsibility of maintaining a clientele, posting on social media, everything that you have to do to get yourself off the ground. So I would say I have a mix, and I'm a little choosy of who I bring on board that's right out of school, because
Yeah.
a lot of the times, like, there's a lot of hand holding that goes along with that, and you're kind of getting them off the ground too. So it's a lot of work on my end instead of somebody who's already established. So I would say it's 50-50 for my salon, but what about for you?
I would say we get a lot of new, because we're different here where people can work from home. So it's definitely one of those things, especially like when we had lockdown and things like that. We were in lockdown for a very long time here in Canada versus the States. And I feel like that was where a lot of people shifted, where they're like, you know what, I'm going to close my brick and mortar. It was another rental for them, or like if they had a lease or something to cover where they could work from home and save that extra money, let's say. But at our brick and mortar location, we're an hourly spa, because I have a lot of people coming in that are new. So it's kind of a great way for them still to make money. I was commissioned when I first started, and I remember sitting around and did one eyebrow wax during the day. I'm like, great, I just worked a 9-hour shift for $7. Like,
yeah, I made $4 today. This is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So I always like to get them on hourly, and then there's always room for that communication and that conversation after if we do decide to change. I've always been an open book with my staff, and I feel like you're probably very much the same, where it's about that community, trusting each other, and just knowing that they can always come to you to talk. I feel is very important, and we kind of lack that in the industry, I find, with some of the old school spas and salons. Now, with that being said, do you do like check-ins with your staff, or how do you kind of run the two locations? Are they close together as well?
Yeah, so you could actually walk from one to the other.
Oh, there you go.
So they're very close. They're different. They offer different services.
Okay.
I've just kind of tried to duplicate what I did at the first to the second. But yeah, I do. When we were commissioned, I felt like there was a lot more involvement from me. And now that we're booth rental, it's more so like, hey, it's been 2 months. Let's have a one-on-one and just like, tell me what's going on. How can I support you more? What can I do for you, and to get you to be where you want to be, and to be the most successful version of yourself, because that's what I lacked, and even in school, I don't know about for you, but in school it was just kind of like, here's the information, like, best of luck, do what you can with that information. And we didn't learn about business. We didn't really learn about commission, booth rental, hourly. We didn't learn about social media. We didn't learn about how to really promote yourselves. It was just, here's how to pretty much pass state board, and good luck to you. So yeah, I try to be more of like an owner / mentor to the people that I have within my salon. And I feel like that really helps the relationship and helps them grow a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you with the whole business thing. And every entrepreneur I know, for the most part, who's female, it's beauty. Well, also because we're in the industry, but I feel like it's so easy as a female entrepreneur, like, to have a pop-up location or do different things within the beauty world. But we are missing that in our education segment. Like, there is no we had a business category under ours. It was 2 weeks of basically reading probably from the 1900s manual on how to run a beauty salon. So
yes, yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the biggest things I find with a lot of my friends who are in mentoring and things like that, have said, like, there isn't enough information about the hourly, commission, booth rental, how to do your bookkeeping, how to even margin, like the margin on products and brands, and like profit and loss. And there's so many things within the beauty world and the business that is a number game, but then it's also, you're dealing with clients, like, it's just so much. Right? There's so many things.
It is. And I think schools under prepare you for
Yes.
how much it's going to be. And then in turn, like people that are fresh out of school coming into a salon, it's like, okay, now I have to give you all of this information because the school didn't prepare you for
Mhm.
that. And then they're like, holy crap, like, what do you mean I have to do all this? What do you mean I have to buy product? What do you mean I have to post every day on social media? Like, it's hard because they're ill prepared and then we're kind of picking up the slack for that. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. And it's hard because it's like you have to wear all the hats too. And it's like, okay, I have to
So
be a
many
good lash
hats.
tech. I have to be good at social media. I have to be good this,
Mhm.
all the things, plus be a
I'm a
therapist for
business
our
owner, I'm a
clients.
mentor, I'm your friend, I'm this, I'm that. Like, it's
Exactly.
so many different things. And I don't think people understand that either because it's very, the lash industry is so trendy right now. Like,
Mhm.
it's so trendy. TikTok, like, everywhere you look, it's like, do you want to be a lash tech? Do you want to be a lash
Mhm.
tech? You know, and I think people think it's just like a snap of a finger and you're going to be able to do it. And that's just not the reality.
If you're a busy person like most of us and forget to take your vitamins every morning, Cara Vitamins has made it extremely easy to remember. What I personally do is I just put the box beside my coffee maker because we all know I can't forget my coffee in the morning. And I make sure that my everyday vitamins are ready to go, either if I'm on the go and/or I throw them in my purse. It's a great way to keep them all in a compact space, as well as keeping your cupboards and cabinets clean and simple. Now, with my promo code capital NME7GR, you will receive 50% off your first order. Now, another great thing I love about this business is they really care about you. Now, when you go online, they're going to ask you questions of why you need vitamins or what you're really needing in your everyday life. Personally, we all need a little bit of extra energy, maybe some extra magnesium, things like that. And this is a great way to keep the questions out of your mind when going to the grocery store and/or a drugstore to pick up your vitamins. Now, once again, that promo code is capital NME7GR for 50% off your first order.
No, and I feel too, to your point, is there's so many courses, there's so many things, but there's no support after. Like you take that lash course, or you take that lash lift and tint course, but there's no follow up afterwards to take care
Yeah.
of those. It's like, okay, I have your money, sweet, now we're done. Like there's no continual support afterwards. So where did you make the change when you were like that aha moment when you were like, I'm going to get into mentoring and more of that behind the scenes of stepping back from clients?
To be honest, it was, so I haven't seen clients in about a year now.
Okay.
And it was immediately after I opened my second location. I was still seeing full-time clients and attempting to renovate the second location, keep tabs on that, and maintain my clientele, maintain my employees, and
Mhm.
opening this like massive second location. And I melted down. Like, it was so, talk about burnout, you know,
Yeah.
like it was so much for me. And I just felt, going into it, I kind of felt invincible. It was like, I can do this, you
Mhm.
know, like, why couldn't I? You know, I have this organized and this organized, like, why wouldn't I be able to do that? And it was just like a hit, like it just hit me, you know. I was just like, I physically can't do this anymore. I can't. So it was like a gut feeling about it that was just like, I'm going to get sick, or something bad is
Yes.
going to happen if I kept on that trajectory. And I just had to listen to my body and stop seeing clients. You know,
Mhm.
it was scary. It was really, really scary. But now, like being a year in, like I couldn't imagine. I don't know how I did that in the beginning, you know, and
Yes.
I don't know how I would have maintained that. So I'm really grateful that I did. But it was a tough decision to do.
Now, how did your clients take that? Just from our listeners too, I had to do the same thing, and I want to hear kind of how your clients took it, or how you went about having these conversations with them.
Yeah, I started telling them right when I started having the feelings of like,
Yeah.
maybe I shouldn't be doing 50 different things at once because I feel like I'm gonna die. Like, you know, so I mean, a lot of my clients I've had for 10 years. they've been seeing me every 2 weeks. Like I see them more than I see some of my friends,
Hmm.
which I'm sure you
Yeah.
experience the same thing. It's like I know everything about you. And I would say it was again 50-50. Some of them were like, good, you're doing too much. I see that you're struggling. Like I support you in that. And a lot of people cried. There were a lot of tears. There's a lot of
Yeah.
like, well, if you're not doing my lashes, I don't want them done. But I will say that having a solid group of girls at my salon that I was able to refer to really helped that transition because they have known them too. So
Hmm.
that eased the blow a little bit, but it was challenging. It was really challenging.
I also went through this thing of like self-doubt. I'm like, am I doing the right thing? Right, for your
Yes.
business, because obviously you're taking a hit in the sense of you're not getting that revenue from doing the physical service
Mhm.
anymore, but for your health as well as the health of the business that it can't keep going without you, right? It's
Totally.
definitely. And why are we entrepreneurs? Why do we do what we do? We try to do it for freedom as well as a ton of other reasons that everyone has. And yeah, that I feel like that was probably one of the hardest things that I've done, is step back and yeah, having those hard conversations. Because like you said, we see them more than I saw my clients more than I saw my family or friends. And yeah, their deepest,
Mhm.
darkest secrets and all the things,
Yes.
right? Their last therapy
Yes.
appointments. And yeah, it's really
Mhm.
hard. And also, if people think any less of you, I think that was something too that our listeners, and even I'm sure you felt as well, is that kind of like, or are they going to think less of me that I'm just sitting at home eating bonbons, not doing services
Oh my
anymore, right?
gosh. Yes, it was such a mental game. And I remember thinking that. And then some people would say to me, if I had like newer clients, they'd be like, well, what are you going to do then?
Yes.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? What am I gonna do?
Hmm.
Like, I never feel like I have to like argue or validate what I'm
Yes.
doing or be like, well, no, I did this today and this today and blah, blah, blah. But it's like, what do you mean? What am I gonna do? Like, don't you see everything that's on my plate right now? Like, let alone seeing a full clientele,
Yeah.
So I totally went through that and it's such a mind game of like, they would say that and then it was like, well, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're right. Like, what am I going to do during the day? Like, what if I don't have things to do? Does that take away my worth? Does that take
Hmm.
away like my success? Does that mean I'm less than because I'm not doing what people think I should be doing pretty much?
I remember that it was like the week after I stepped back from taking clients. Yeah, I think it was roughly a week or so after. I was at the local grocery store. We live in a very small town. Everyone knows each other. And I was in the grocery store. It was like a lunch hour too. It was like middle of the day. I ran in there to grab a few things. I was already in town. And someone came up to me and they're like, shouldn't you be at work? And I just kind of stepped back and I'm like, excuse me. I just like it was probably
What
written
did
all
you
over
just
my face.
say?
I didn't even know what to say. I just kind of was like, I'm on lunch. And then just like continued doing what I was doing.
Oh
Cause it
no.
was just like, and then I remember sitting in my car and like literally almost in tears, like, what am I doing? And then I realized like I'm also a workaholic. So then I was just kept turning to work to like kind of in my head be like, I'm working, I'm working, I'm working. But really, I'm like, why am I working this hard? I'm literally allowed to have an hour break for lunch. Like I would have had that when I was at the
Or
spa.
a
So why am
whole
I?
damn day.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares?
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah. But I feel like as entrepreneurs, we have that kind of like, oh, are people watching us, right? Like, oh, what are we doing? What decisions we're making? Yeah, if I go for lunch on an afternoon, like, are people going to think less of me? And I feel like that's why I
Hmm.
resonated with your Instagram so much, is because of that mind frame and like what you were talking about actually today on your stories about the shadowing, like that shadowing mindset. I was like,
Oh,
okay, this is
I
hitting me.
know. I know. You're like, I feel attacked, but I like it.
I'm like, are you talking to me through the screen? I
Yeah.
feel it.
You said you. She knows.
Yeah, exactly. So do you want to talk a little bit more about the shadowing for people who don't
Oh
know
my gosh.
exactly in detail what that
Yes.
is? So you can use me as an example for it, like you
Okay,
said.
great. So basically everybody has a shadow, and what your shadow is the darkest, deepest parts of yourself that you've pretty much hidden from yourself. So, as we're growing up, there's experiences or personality traits or qualities within ourselves that our subconscious mind deems undesirable. So a lot of shame, a lot of just negative experiences or parts of yourself that people have made you feel like you shouldn't have,
Mm-hmm.
basically. And so as an adult, like I'm 33, so as an adult right now, my shadow is heavy. The way that it's described is like, think about your childhood, and it was described as you have this like fat duffel bag and it's just shoved full of shit, just like all this negativity, all of these bad feelings, all these bad memories. And imagine like you're dragging that around, that's like attached to a rope, and you're just walking around life dragging this duffel bag full of your shadow around. Like it gets heavy, it gets
Mm-hmm.
exhausting, it gets tiresome, just like shoving all of that down. And so you don't even really know that you have it, is the crazy part. And so the way that you identify what it is you have to look at the way other people trigger you, and you have to look at the way other people affect you, whether it's like, oh my God, Nicole, you're irritating me, or you said something and it like made my stomach sink, or
Mm-hmm.
just you posted this thing on social media and I felt like your work was better than mine, or this word that you said. Literally anything anyone else does that triggers you or causes discomfort in your body is a sign that what they're doing is in your shadow.
Are you thinking about starting a podcast? I remember when we launched Beauty Behind the Brand, it was just an idea at first, and I didn't know where to start or what platform to use or how to streamline everything. Buzzsprout has made our lives so much easier, and I want to share some free info about it. Save $20 on your second invoice with Buzzsprout, and they will make your life so much easier. All you really need to do is upload, chat, and interview your guests, and Buzzsprout does the rest.
Wow.
Oh my God, it's so deep. So, like, the only way that you can identify what your shadow is by identifying it in other people.
I like
So,
that.
it's so in depth and it's been profound because like you can apply it to everything in your life, but especially business. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when I first started doing lashes, it was a very long time ago, and the industry was not what it is now, but I would scroll on social media and I would be sobbing like, why doesn't my work look like that? You know, why is hers better than mine? Why is this better than mine? She said that she built her whole business on social media, but I'm trying and I can't do that. You know, and all of that was triggering me. It meant nothing about that person whatsoever. That was within me, like something within
Mm-hmm.
me I needed to work on to move past that and be a better business owner. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
definitely.
pretty involved. It's heavy. It's heavy, but it is incredible.
And I feel like finding that it's hard to find the things that are wrong with you without looking, but that's a great way of seeing those triggers when it's with someone else. Because you might be like, oh, I'm
Hmm.
not like this, but then you see those things that irritate you from someone else's point of view that could be from you.
Right. Isn't it
Yeah,
crazy to think
that's so
about? And
interesting.
the opposite is true too. So if I'm looking at you and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so poised, you're so kind, you're so beautiful, like you're such a nice person, the only way that I can see that within you is because I have those qualities too. So
Yes.
it
Yeah.
goes with with the positive and the negative, but everything in your world is just a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm seeing in you is a direct reflection of myself.
That's beautiful. And I also, to add to that too, I feel like that manifesting of positive and negatives. Like the more negative you see in someone, the more negative you're gonna go. The more positive you see
Oh
someone, the
my
more
gosh,
positive you're
yes.
gonna go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's that whole mindset, 100%.
It is. It is, and everything's a choice too. You know, you wake up and if you're feeling shitty, you can choose to see things in a shitty light, or you can be like, I'm not doing this today. The world is beautiful. Look at the sun. Look at, I woke up today. I was able
Mm-hmm.
to have coffee today. You know, there's a lot of beauty. And instead of just being like, I don't have clients or that one person canceled, like you're just going to attract more of that to you rather than looking at the beauty in what you do have and pulling more of that into you.
I love that. Yeah, definitely. Now, do you want to chat a little bit more about your masterclass to our listeners too?
Yes.
I love hearing little snippets of it on social too. So I'm excited to hear it actually from you live.
Yes. Yeah. So I am mostly a mindset and manifestation coach right now. I obviously my jam is the beauty industry. So I'm kind of marrying the two together and in hopes that I can help beauty business owners or beauty service providers wrap their mindset around what they have to do to be successful and so that they don't get like punched in the gut in this industry, because
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to have that done to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like especially if you don't really know what you're getting into, you can step foot in this and you're like, holy shit, like what is this, So, the masterclass is Boss Up Your Beauty Biz Masterclass, and it is pretty much all about energy. It's about your energy, your client's energy, your energy around your work, whatever service you're providing, and your energy around money. So it really is encompassing of everything that you're working with and dealing with within your beauty business and how to have the right mind frame and how to have the right tools in your corner to have a really successful beauty business in your mind.
I love that. And like you said, that whole punch in the gut feeling, I've definitely been there a few times with, you're like, what's wrong with
Right?
me? Why is this employee, why is this happening? Like literally after
Mhm.
COVID, I basically had to build a whole new team. And I felt like I went through like 5 breakups. Half my girls had kids or moved away. And then one opened up her own, but it was like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? Right. It took me a very long
Totally.
time to get over the fact that it was not me. It was the way of life and the way of, I mean, we're also females, like life happens, we
Yeah.
grow and life
Yeah.
changes and whatever, but it is a very high turnover industry. And I feel like as the owner, as you can probably say the same, it's a lot. You're like, okay, everything's good right now, and then it's like boom, 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 all at once.
Yeah. Yeah. Being an owner is a whole different ball game than being the service provider. And I don't know how you could prepare somebody for it, for like salon ownership, for managing women
Mm-hmm.
mostly on
Mm-hmm.
that front, but it is a whole different ball game and there's gut punches all across the board whether you're a provider or an owner,
Yeah,
really.
definitely. Now, what are some of your like best suggestions for people in 2023 this year that you've kind of seen like a trend with a lot of your clients with kind of that mind frame and manifesting for 2023?
That's a really good question. I would say, and I would say this to my mindset and manifestation clients as well, that your mindset is absolutely everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And everything starts in your mindset. Like you can't you can't outwork a shitty mindset.
Yeah.
You can't have such a good skill that your mindset doesn't matter. Your mindset is going to trump absolutely everything. And if you don't do great work, but you have a good mindset, you're still going to succeed because you're going to have the mentality to push through that.
Mm-hmm.
However, vice versa isn't really true, right? So your mindset is just everything, and I cannot stress the importance of just your money energetics, your mindset around your clients. Like the amount of people that I see or talk to that feel like they own their clients. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Like
Yeah.
this is my client.
The
This
entitlement.
is how
Yeah.
dare you? Yes. And you can't there's not success on the other side of that. There's enough room, there's enough success, money, clients to go around for every single
Mm-hmm.
person and then some. And you have to embody that and believe it, or you're not going to succeed in this industry, just straight up.
That's a great point of the believing, because I feel like, yeah, you can fake it till you make it, whatever. But like until you
Yeah.
actually believe in yourself that you can do it, I always feel like if they can do it, I can do it, but you have to like really believe that you can do it and you'll do everything to
100%.
make it work. Because I feel like
Yeah.
as business owners, like it's like a child. We have to keep this thing alive. Like we got to make
Yes.
sure it's
It
fed.
is
We've
a
got to,
child.
we've got, oh my gosh. And you've got 2 of them too. So I feel like it's like keeping them alive as well as like keeping the energy for them. Like you can keep them
Mhm.
alive, but as long as they have to have good energy that are, your clients can feel that too. And that's probably, you and I are very similar to that bad place we worked before to what we've created. And hopefully everyone else who comes in and out of our locations feel the same, that energy when they walk in there, that positive atmosphere. And yeah, and believing in that when you create it too.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, we've all walked into like either a salon or a store and you feel the negative energy. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you go in, I've been into like a makeup store that's local here and it's like, oh, everyone doesn't like me when I walk through the door. Like they're judging me or they don't want to help
Mm-hmm.
me or whatever, you know? And that's so common. And I tell people when I interview them, like, we are not a mean girl salon. Every
Yes.
single person that walks through the door should be treated with respect and kindness, no matter who they are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the standard, you know, and I think it's some people have a really competitive mindset in this industry and there's just really no room for that either, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very scarce way to look at it, just to put it bluntly, and
Mm-hmm.
there's room for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
There's money, there's clients, there's room for everyone to grow, and like feeling like you own your clients or, you know, feeling like this is mine is just, you're not going to succeed if with that type of outlook.
No, definitely not. And that whole boss babe community, like I really love where the new trends of things, even like I think of our communities in the last world when the pandemic happened, like everyone kind of came together and was doing a lot of the podcasts, reaching out, doing collabs, giveaways. Like there were so many things and it was so nice to see that. Because the world is a small place and we all are interconnected somehow. And it's why not help each other if we can, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I fully agree with that. And I just had something and I totally lost it. Hold on, it'll come back. Oh, the boss babe mindset.
Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Talk about like hustle culture is a whole other podcast topic.
Yeah.
But it's so common, like,
Hmm.
and I don't know if you can relate to this, but it was normal for me to see 9, 10 clients a day and not have a break, not
Hmm.
eat. I would go to bed at 11 at night and wake up at 9 and do the same thing for 6 days. Like, it's
Hmm.
crazy. The idea that your how much you work and how hard you work being tied to your success or your worth is just so toxic, and that is
Hmm.
something that I really hope declines this year within the lash industry or the beauty
Absolutely.
industry.
I remember one year for my New Year's resolution was to give myself a lunch. Like, how sad is that to think? Because I would,
Can
like,
relate.
literally, I was like shaking at the end of the day. My blood sugars were all out of whack. And I'm like, I've just worked over 10 hours, oh, like almost 12 hours,
Yes.
and I haven't eaten anything, probably drank just coffee, not even a water. And I'm like, okay, my
Uh-huh.
New Year's resolution before I keel over and something happens to me, I'm going to start allowing myself to have lunch. And I stuck
Right?
to it because I was like, I'm people pleaser, which I think a lot of us are in this industry. I'm like, oh, I could sneak
Mhm.
someone in for a fill within that hour, or I could do a brow wax or whatever. But I was like, I stuck to my guns. And even a lot of our girls that we hire on, we're like, okay, we're allowing an hour for lunch for employees. And they're like, really? I get a lunch? I'm like, okay, clearly like no one's been reading the health board or like employee handbook here.
Exactly.
Like legally I have to
Yeah.
give you an hour.
This
So
is what's supposed to happen.
yeah, exactly. And like you said, I really hope that people start taking better care of themselves this year too. That whole wellness side of life, right? We definitely need that to take
Hmm.
care of ourselves, to take
Yeah,
care of others.
thankfully, absolutely. And thankfully with what was I gonna say? With the trend of like the lashes being really trendy,
Hmm.
self-care is also really trendy
Hmm.
right now. So people are into that. They're taking a slower approach to life. And I think there's people like you and I that have been in the industry for a while who those habits are really hard to break.
Hmm.
And I hope that they catch on to that because we can help the people who are fresh out of school and like, this isn't how you do this. This isn't the norm, but it's the people who have been doing it for a while and are still conditioned to not have a lunch, you know, not
Yeah.
drink water all day, not like some of my girls are like, I didn't pee at all today. I'm like, what? Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not okay, you
And
know?
that overwork, like, I feel like there was, what the heck was that quote? Something about like overworking and like almost bragging about it, where people are like, oh, I work this, this, and this, where it's like, instead be like, oh, I actually exercised today, or I actually took an hour for lunch, like
Right.
glorifying more of that than the workaholic mind frame.
Yeah, and I can relate to that. Like when I very first started, I was hustling and grinding and I was like I was taking off, but it was so unhealthy.
Hmm.
And being on the other side of the burnout is like, whoa, I look at what I was doing and who I was being, and it's like, geez, I was neglecting myself so terribly and really causing harm to myself and my mental state because of how much I was
Hmm.
working. And it you can get caught up in like, yes, I'm busy, I'm this, I'm that. But when it comes down to it, like it is not glamorized. Like I'm still recovering and it's been almost about a year from
Hmm.
not seeing clients and I'm still kind of just like, whoa, okay. It's okay that I rest today. It's
Hmm.
okay that I don't have back-to-back meetings all day, you know?
Hmm. Well, that nervous system, right? It's been like crazy, go, go, go for how many years? And then now it's like, oh, okay, what do I do now?
Yeah, I can breathe. This is
Yeah, what?
wild.
I'm allowed to breathe? Like,
Yeah. You have food? You have like
yeah.
eat during the day? That's amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I feel like this is such a fun conversation too. And I feel like a lot of our listeners will take away that kind of the mind frame, like what we were talking about with the shadowing, as well as like, yeah, taking care of ourselves and that wellness that is so important to better serve our businesses, whether they're business owners or employers or employees, room rentals, all the things. Like there's so many different
Yes,
places to
yeah.
be in the beauty realm. Where can people find you best to do your master class, Amanda?
On Instagram or TikTok, it is at the Mindset Academy with 2 Y's at the end.
Okay, amazing.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for jumping on today. I feel like this is a super fun conversation and I feel like so many takeaways. I'm like gonna probably re-listen to this
Yes.
multiple times.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome, and I